Video.
All right. The recording has started. Just some ground rules. I will be timing, but please do time yourselves and the speakers that are speaking right now for POI purposes. And I will be obviously prioritizing my notes, so I may be a bit late and imprecise in my timing. Without further ado, for the motion, the House supports the inclusion of feminist narratives in advertisements of fashion and beauty products. Welcoming to the floor, Prime Minister. Here.
Wait, before we start, I want to ask the Prime Minister, would you like us to ask the POI in the chat box or verbally?
Verbally.
All right, thank you.
So do I start now?
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
Okay. My speech will start in 3, 2, 1. Hello, I am the Prime Minister for the government and the first speaker for the government. I will be talking about empowerment and representation, while my second speaker will be talking about encouraging corporate accountability and factors leading to the inclusion of the female narrative. The motion proposes that fashion and beauty advertisement should be incorporated. It should be incorporate feminist narratives, which promotes messages of gender equality, empowerment, and women's rights. Advocates of the motion argue that including feminist narratives in this advertisement can challenge harmful beauty standards, empower women, promote positive body image, and contribute to a broader cultural shift towards gender equality. We believe that advertising is a powerful tool to influence societal attitudes and behaviors, and that promotes and that promotes and that promoting feminist values in advertisement can have a positive impact on women's empowerment and social perception of gender roles. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed judges, and honorable opponents, today we, the government, stand firmly in support of the motion. This House supports the inclusion of feminist narratives in advertisement of fashion and beauty products. We firmly believe that fashion and beauty advertisement have a powerful influence on societal norms and self-perception, and by incorporating feminist narrative, we can drive positive change, empower women, and promote gender equality. Ladies and gentlemen, today our stance revolves around the powerful concept of empowerment and representation in fashion and beauty advertisement through the inclusion of feminist narratives. We firmly believe that these narratives have the potential to shape cultural norms, inspire positive self-perception, and uplift women in society. Count Fashion and beauty advertisement have been notorious for reinforcing limiting gender stereotypes and promoting unrealistic beauty ideals. Our proposal seeks to challenge these long-standing norms. By incorporating feminist narratives, we envision advertisement that portray women as multifaceted individuals, breaking away from traditional roles and embracing diverse talents and strengths. Through these narratives, we aim to challenge preconceived notions and promote an inclusive and empowering image of women. Rather than being confined to superficial beauty standards, women can see themselves represented as individuals capable of achievements beyond appearance, inspiring them to shatter societal constraints and embrace their unique strengths. We will also be promoting body positivity and self-confidence. Body image issues among women exacerbated by unrealistic beauty standards have had a profound impact on self-esteem and mental well-being. We recognize the urgency of addressing this issue. By incorporating feminist narrative, fashion and beauty advertisement can promote body positivity and self-confidence. Through these narratives, advertisement can celebrate diverse body types and present beauty as a reflection of inner strength and individuality. By fostering a more inclusive portrayal of beauty, we empower women to embrace their bodies, appreciate their unique features, and feel confident in their own skin, free from the burden of societal expectation. Fashion and beauty advertisement have the potential to go beyond mere aesthetics and inspire aspiration and ambitions among women. Our vision is to use this advertisement as a medium to showcase women as role models and change makers. By featuring feminist narratives that highlight women excelling in various domains such as leadership and entrepreneurship and social activism, advertisement can encourage young girls and women to dream big and pursue their goals with determination. These narratives remind women that their potential is limitless and their aspirations should be nurtured and celebrated.
POI.
Okay, sure.
As you stated that you can make the young your motion is that they can promote makes the younger generation or current older women more comfortable inside the skin, right? And they have more courage to go outside and socialize. But what about those who gain too much courage and become narcissistic? What about them?
Then that's a societal problem that is not included in this motion. So and you took too much of my time, so I will disregard that. We will also be cultivating a sense of agency. Our final emphasis lies on cultivating a sense of agency among women through feminist narratives. Advertisement can be more than passive messages. They can empower women with informed choices. By featuring feminist narratives that celebrate women's autonomy and decision making, advertisement can encourage women to exercise their agency as consumers. This collective empowerment can drive demands for brands that genuinely support gender equality and diverse representation, encouraging the fashion and beauty industry to prioritize authentic narratives. In conclusion, empowerment and representative are at the core of our proposition. By encountering stereotypes, promoting body positivity, inspiring aspirations, and cultivating agency, feminist narratives in fashion and beauty advertisement can transform societal norms and uplift women to new heights. Let us come together to embrace advertisement that celebrate the strength, resilience, and achievements of women. Through these narratives, we can create a world where women of all backgrounds can feel empowered, represented, and valued for their unique contributions. As we advocate for this transformation change, we stand for a more inclusive and empowering future for women everywhere in the world. Uh, we can also include this in third world countries from all over the world. And also, I want to mention, uh, but through these narratives, wait, wrong, sorry. Uh, as we advocate for this transformative change, we stand for a more inclusive, empowering future for women everywhere. Thank you. That I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Welcoming Leader of Opposition. Just a note, please keep your POIs under 15 seconds. Please try to keep your POIs as short as you can to not cut into the speaker's time. Thank you. Welcoming Alo, here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. I am the opposition. I am the leader of the opposition. I have my deputy leader, Ng Yihan, and I have the opposition whip, Yap Jian Liang. So, as to what the government said, uh, they have said that this house believes that, sorry, this house believes that female, so the government has said that they believe the inclusion of feminist narrative in advertisement of fashion and beauty products. But they have stated that these advertisements can promote body positivity. But what about those who are disabled? Those are those. What about women who are disabled?
POI, please.
Yes, please.
Are you saying that disabled women aren't beautiful?
No, I'm talking about how would you use these products on these women. All right, continuing on. As I said, I have heard that you said cultural. Is that can shape cultural insight or definition, anything related to cultural. But as you know, a lot of countries are religious, especially our country, Malaysia. As Malaysia is a diverse country with various culture, religion, and traditional values. Well, and some of these feminist narrative originates from the Western country. For example, America, which may clash with the religions of these countries. May clash with the cultural norms and belief of these countries, which could lead to which can lead to the inclusion of the cultural insensitivity and backlash from the residents that are living in the country. One of the few potential backlash is that the brands who advertise these who brought in these feminist narratives into their advertisement might get negative reactions, boycotts, or criticisms from these groups as it contradicts with their religion's norms and belief. And for as the commercial value, while some of the consumers will support these feminist narratives, but others, as I said, will prefer more traditional portraits of gender roles within these advertisements. If you don't strike the right balance within the market, it will fall one day sooner or later. And as for many countries, they have laws and regulations to consider whether to put in these feminist narrative in this fashion and beauty advertisement. As I said, they adhere to the cultural, moral, and religious norm of the said country, which might lead to conflict with existing regulations, groups, or the government. Furthermore, right, we have multiple cases. We have one or two cases where feminist narrative was added into advertisement, which failed due to the population, the people of said country. For example, Pepsi, the advertisement of Live for Now in 2017, it is as a greatly critical ad as it co-opts social justice, which is and feminist imagery.
POI, please.
Yes.
The motion is about fashion and beauty products. Pepsi is not a beauty or fashion product.
Well, I said it was an example. That's how feminists will be into advertisement. All right, I'll continue on. Another one is, as I said, Pepsi is an example of how people put feminist narrative into advertisement, as it has been heavily criticizing for being used as activism and a large amount of hate to women for commercial gains, which is and another one is Nivea, What is Pure, as the same year, 2017. Nivea faced backlash for an ad that features the tagline of White is Pure. This is the same as body shaming because they only choose white women into these ads. Feminism are supposed to be feminism are supposed to be equal to all races, right? And for society, was off. So I have nothing to say more. This ends my case.
Thank you, Alo. Welcoming DPM. Sorry for the timing mistake there. Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yep.
All right, so hold on. My speech will start in 3, 2, 1. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be opening my speech with taking the example of the Barbie movie that just released. Sales have risen in the fashion and beauty products ever since that trailer released because of the multifaceted ways it empowers women. But before I would like to get into the fact that why it actually empowers women and actually helps the feminism culture, is I would like to rebut the things said by the opposition side, which is they question how we would use this product for disabled women. First of all, as long as they are women, then they deserve the right to actually use this product or actually be part of the fashion and beauty product. So we would think that that whole point that what about this disabled woman? There are still women. As long as they are women, then they get to be empowered by this fashion and beauty products. And the fact that they're using disabled women is like we're assuming they don't think that disabled women are women. But disabled women are still part of the feminism culture. And they also said how this will clash with cultural norm of the country and get backlash from the residents. We meant it empowers the culture of fashion by strengthening the identity that they are originally born with. It means the identity they have as a woman and the identity that they integrate into a society of feminism, then that is where they gain and they strengthen their own identity and empower themselves to be proud of who they are. But the fact that they're using religion and culture to say that we shouldn't provide an inclusion for the feminist narratives in advertisements is like saying that they're trying to make a debate out of race versus gender, and that is completely out of line of this debate of this motion today. And they also said how the people in the nation would rather prefer traditional roles. But who are they talking about? Who are they aiming? Do they mean traditional roles of a woman, which is to stay as a housewife, or a traditional role of a man who is to go out and become a breadwinner? They did not specify what kind of traditional roles would those nations prefer, and that is why we'd like to say that specific point is weak because they did not comply on how that would actually work. Because in this world and in this modern society, this day and age, we are all equal in a way that both women and men get nothing more and nothing less. But the fact that they're pushing that we should actually prefer those traditional roles is like they're saying that women should go back to the past and not get any women's rights or just stay in a kitchen. That is what they're trying to propose. And that's why we would assume that they are trying to push a narrative that is actually set back in the past and not trying to move forward.
Right.
Women, yes.
How do you prove that male and female are equal?
I'm sorry, what?
How do you prove male and female are equal?
How do I prove? Can you chat in the text box? I'm sorry.
Sure, yeah, sure.
But yeah, and then they also said about the Nivea ad, how they only include white women. But this is not about gender and race. This is about gender and gender. And so if they're women, that is why on government side, we are trying to include all women, all white and African American women. But the Nivea ad was so unfair because they talk about race and gender at the same time. Okay, the POI was how do you prove male? Sorry about that. How do you prove female and male are equal? Simply because there's nothing. If you would find a law, what law does a man have that woman does not have right now? But right now, we both know that there's no law that states that. But society's perception still thinks that women should not deserve those rights. And that is why the feminism narrative is important in advertisements, to show that it is important, because men still don't see that. And that is why our first argument was that my first prime minister mentioned how we are providing multifaceted ways it empowers women. And what we say, it means that it represents the power of women and what they can do, and so that they can be proud of themselves, especially in the fashion and beauty products, in the fashion and beauty industry, because it already exists. Originally, we are already dominating in that fashion and beauty industry. And they also mentioned how they also asked about what about the people they do encourage and become narcissistic. There are not many people who actually become out of 10 people, 1 out of 10 women would actually come out as narcissistic or are somewhat narcissistic, but not many, only a number of people. But what about the people it actually helped? What about the people that raised their confidence? What about the people that helped them? No, thank you. What about the people that helped them in ways that nothing else could have helped them, but only fashion and beauty products could actually help them? And so that is why we would like to introduce the factors that lead to the inclusion of feminism narrative in advertisements. The first thing being the growing activism around the better representation of women in advertising. What this does, it means it is an active representation of the women that is already having this strength of power and trying to prove that to the world that it actually matters. And the second thing, how the brand activism and conscious capitalism that is really active in a nation where they prioritize this capitalism, where they think that women do not, and they think that women are not important enough for certain things. But that is why in the fashion and beauty products, we must allow the inclusion of these feminist narratives, because so that they can take control of that certain industry and increase the awareness of gender stereotype. Because even if the laws say that both women are men and men are equal, there is still the perception of society that women are still below men. And that is why that is something that we have to completely annihilate. And so what are the benefits of actually doing this? We get to encourage yes, sir.
Just now, when I asked about POI that male and female, how do you prove male and female are equal? They are wrong, right? But
Sorry, I'm
now-
just gonna pause the timer. We cannot hear your mic. It is extremely blurry. Please fix your mic. Yeah. If
Okay.
any of his teammates can say his POI for him, that would be fine. But it is
Okay.
completely inaudible.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Meanwhile, it's 5:54.
Yes, I like to continue a POI. Just now, the
Wait,
government.
I will go 3, 2, 1. I'll go 3, 2, 1, and you start, okay? Just to give the okay, yeah. Okay, 3, 2, 1, timer start.
Just now, the government team have said don't have any law that prove that women are prove that men are low or higher than the
And if you're taking too much of my time, I still have things to do. Okay, so what would happen if they side with the opposition side? So first, there will be lack of authenticity, and second, the dilution of feminist discourse. The people and society now already have the perception that feminism isn't active enough, so that will cause the dilution of feminist discourse and actually bring down the empowerment of women. And that is why we should support the inclusion of feminist narratives in advertisements, especially in fashion and beauty products, because that is something that could be held at a level of identification for a woman. And so to get the full picture of the current state is to understand the shifting social and ideological environment. What are the ideas of the society as a whole, and how we see women, how we perceive women right now? We need to change the way they look down at women, or probably think that women are not important enough. And how do we do this? By the inclusion of the feminism narratives in advertisements of fashion and beauty products. And so that is why we would, the government side fully supports the inclusion of feminism narratives, because it actually advocates empowerment and strength for the women that exist, and especially the women that still thinks the perception of society is important. And thus we support today's debate. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can I just ask if opposition teams, I don't know who was speaking just now, but your mic was extremely unclear. I cannot hear you just now, so please change your mic. Yeah. All right, thank you. Welcome in Diallo.
my mic. Can you hear me?
Can I try speaking? Try saying the motion again.
The motion.
Yeah. Just to check if you're audible throughout.
This house support the inclusion of feminists.
Okay, I think you should. Yeah, I think you should be clear. I will stop you if I think you're cutting out, but yeah. Whenever you're ready.
Morning to all. I like to write that just now the government team say. Just now the government team say there are not a law that show us that the sorry. Just now they say don't have any law that prove us and show us that men are men lower than women. And she said the men are lower than the women are lower than a man just now. Okay, now I'd like to start my point. Firstly, what you say?
No, not yet. It's not 1 minute yet. Sorry.
Think of the diversity. Skincare advertisement may omit women of different age, race, shapes, and skin tones. This lake show diversity can lead some women to feel self-identified as not conforming to so-called standard for apparel. Second, if a woman go to help to take the advertisement and she violation of portrait by right by individual. If women are infringed on their portrait like skincare advertisement, it will make many women feel intimidated by this position. And third, focus on product promotion. Fashion and beauty advertisement primarily serve to promote products and service. While it is important to embrace reject, includes and diverse advertising, the primary focus shall remain on the product rather than overly pushing social or political agendas. Women are forcibly portrayed in this type of advertisement, causing developing girls and women to feel guilt and shame when comparing themselves. And there are these negative.
Sorry, you're muted.
Okay. Sorry.
Yep.
Let's
I've paused the timer at 3 minutes. You may begin when
the
you
negative effect of fashion and beauty advertisement among women include unrealistic expectation, objectification, and sexualization. Lastly, I like to the last point is give me a second. Lastly, coping feminists. The fashion and beauty industry have not way aligned with feminist principle, and some may see the inclusion of female and female principles and some may see the inclusion of female narrative as a core operation of a social movement of comparate again. This could be like the core value of female and lead to skeptics about the sincerity of this advertisement. That's my case.
Thank you, Diallo. Welcoming government whip. Here.
Is it my turn?
Yep, whenever you're ready.
Oh, hold on. Okay, I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, hi, my name is Sarah. I'm the third speaker of the opposition team. So I will be rebutting what the first and the second speaker of the opposition team has said. That the first speaker has said that about how are we going to advocate for fashion and beauty if they are disabled women? Why can't we? We can advocate disabled women in advertisement in fashion and beauty products. It will show like this way for the disabled woman will feel confident on themselves. Disabled women always feels like they are enough for themselves. So what's the problem? If disabled woman cannot be, you say that disabled women cannot. What about this disabled woman about being in the fashion or products advertisement? They can. They are. They are on the fashion advertisement. They are. And on the next second speaker are saying that women will feel shame if we compare them. And he'll be talking about unrealistic expectation point towards females. There will always be unrealistic expectation everywhere. It didn't matter then, but it didn't matter when the inclusive feminist narrative. So like you think everyone likes you? Like, no, everyone doesn't like you. You don't need to think what unrealistic expectation always happens. Like, we can make everyone like us no matter how hard we try. You think the world should be fair? This also unrealistic because many aspects of the world are outside of our control. So I'll be getting on rebutting on my teammate's point that my first speakers has said. In power and representation, women's in power can be defined to promoting women's sense of self-worth, their ability to determine their own choices and their rights to influence social change for themselves and others. Feminist narratives in advertisement of fashion and beauty products can empower other women by influencing them on confidence. You see, nowadays women are so obsessed with being pretty. It's not because they don't feel like they aren't enough. They are enough, but they do this because they want to look good on themselves. Because if you see a good-looking person, people would think you as someone who would take care of themselves. That okay. And another conclusion: women, they are so obsessed on being pretty because it's not because they want to look good for other people. It's because they want to satisfy themselves. So this is why advertisement of fashion and beauty products is good for the feminism. As we know, the fashion and beauty products advertisement was being influenced by most of them are females. Most of the ambassador brands are females. So in this way, they can influence the other women to feel confidence on themselves, to feel enough for themselves, for the women's rights. So why are you secret about them being never mind. Okay, on to my second speaker point, encouraging corporate accountability. These are the commercial values that associate with the feminism. Feminine gender and feminist values, which includes cooperation, respect, caring, nurturance, interconnections, justice, etc. Quite simply, feminism is all about genders having equal rights and opportunities. It's about respecting diverse women's experience, identities, knowledge, and strengths, and striving to empower all women to realize their full right. The way feminist ideas and icons are appropriate for commercial purpose, empty of their political significance, and offer back to the public in a commodified form. I would like to question the opposition. I would like to question the opposite team. Why did you think women will always feel not enough for themselves? Like
we women always think we are enough for ourselves, but we're not even insecure on ourselves. We're not. We feel like how okay, not it's okay. I just make it easier. That's fine.
Okay. Thank you, Government Whip. Welcoming Opposition Whip here. Up Whip. I cannot
Yes.
hear you. Can you speak again?
Mic test, mic test.
Okay, this seems clear.
Good evening to everyone. I'm the Opposition Whip, and today I would like
Okay,
to
sorry.
summarize.
It is very, very choppy. Like there's like very staticky sound. Can you try someone else's mic or another device?
I'll change to my deputy prime minister.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Mic test.
Yep. I think I can hear you better.
Good evening to everyone. I'm the Opposition Whip, and today I would like to summarize all the points that my leader of opposition and deputy leader of opposition have said. So I'll summarize is that if this House supports the inclusion of feminist narratives in advertisements of fashion and beauty products, it will bring cultural sensitivity, as my leader of opposition has said. There is a diverse country, cultural, religion, traditional values, especially those originating from Western context.
Okay, sorry, I
Also
had to
global-
pause. You cut out for a bit there. Can you try speaking again?
Can you hear me?
Okay, I think I can hear. I think you need to speak a bit louder if possible. Thank you. Because I like you grow a bit softer just now. It's not 1 minute yet, it's still 37 seconds. I'm just gonna start when you start.
Where did I stop?
I heard something about diversity and then the rest of it was kind of choppy. Do you want to start over your speech maybe?
Just restart it. Yeah, I'll restart.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening to everyone. I'm the opposition whip, and today I would like to summarize all the points that my leader of opposition and the leader of opposition have spoken. So, yeah, I believe that if this House supports the inclusion of feminist narratives in advertisement of fashion and beauty products, it will bring a lot of trouble, like cultural sensitivity. As my leader of opposition has said, Malaysia is a diverse country with various cultural, religious, and traditional values. Some feminist narratives, especially those originating from Western context, clash with local cultural norms and beliefs. This inclusion of such narratives in advertisement could lead to cultural insensitivity and backlash from conservative segments of society. And secondly, it will bring potential backlash. Malaysia has conservative segment that may be opposed to feminist narratives in fashion and beauty advertisements. Brands could face negative reaction, boycotts, and or criticize from these groups impacting their business and
Your eye, please. Do you say yes? Just now you said that this will it will affect the culture and stuff, but this house is giving a choice on government side. We're giving a choice for you to actually use the fashion and beauty product, not forcing you. It's not a motion of this house would force.
Well, I didn't say it's forced. I mean, like if those feminists really chose to do this, and if they really chose to do this, then it will bring the cultural sensitivity. Point. I said that potential backlash. Yeah, brands could face negative reaction, boycotts, or criticism from these groups impacting their business and reputation and commercial viability. Brands need to consider the commercial viability of the advertisement, or some consumers may support feminist narratives. Others may prefer more traditional portrayals of gender roles, striking the right balance to appeal to a diverse audience is crucial for a brand's success in the market. And moreover, legal and regulatory considerations. Malaysia has laws and regulations that govern the content of advertisements, ensuring they adhere to cultural, moral, and religious norms. The inclusion of certain feminist narratives might lead to conflicts with existing regulations, potentially resulting in legal challenges for brands. And as my Deputy Prime Minister has said, focus on product promotion brings fashion and beauty advertisement primarily serve to promote products and services. While it's important to embrace inclusive and diverse advertisement, the primary focus should remain on the product rather than overly pushing social or political agendas. Women are falsely portrayed in these types of advertisements, causing developing girls and women to feel guilt and shame when comparing themselves. The negative effects of fashion and beauty advertisement among women include realistic expectations, objectification, and sexualization. And lastly, as the opposition team, we highly disagree that supports the inclusion of feminist narratives in advertisement of fashion and beauty products. Thus, I am against.
Thank you. Welcoming opposition reply. Here.
Sorry, we have some technical difficulty here. Right. So today I will give the reply speech after everything we have debated. But the government, they have said that feminism have to include feminism within advertisement, fashion and beauty advertisement. They said that women would have more confidence within their beauty. But what about those who do not? There are some people who disagree. There are some people who will compare themselves to the body of said advertisement. And as per either the leader or the deputy leaders have said, one of them has said that men and women do not have equal rights. Where is your facts? Where is the statistics? Where is the stats? And which law are you talking about that men have more rights than women? And for our team, we have said that these if you include female narrative into the fashion and beauty advertisement, it would impact heavily onto a country's religions, cultures, and it will impact heavily on the country's culture and religion, as it will also cause as a backlash to the company who did this advertisement. It's caused a set groups that will either have negative reaction, boycott, or criticism against these companies. As we said, the traditional portraits, as the opposition has, as the government has asked us, what is the traditional gender roles that we have set, is that men are more included into the workforce than women. As such, so is because the government has decided that, as the past government have decided to follow the old regulations, and this is why we state these facts. And for as laws and regulations that the government have gives, the so law and regulations within this feminist narrative, within this advertisement, to include feminist narrative, is so there's a lot of laws that disagree to involve these into the advertisement, is because they adhere to cultural morals and religious norms. No. And as per my Deputy Prime Minister has said, that this will, as if we include feminist narrative into advertisement, it will impact heavily on the product promotion. Is if you only should if you only advertise feminism on it, as not as what about the men's? What would they have? So thus I end this reply switch.
Thank you, opposition reply. Welcoming government reply to end the debate. Here.
Okay, my speech will start in 3, 2, 1. Okay, sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 3 things as the government we would like to rebut from the opposition side, and 3 things we entirely disagree with, because there's no backups to their and explanations to their points. The first thing is backlash on culture and how we are holding on to wrong cultural forms and morals. But I think the opposition side has misunderstood the fact that this motion is not this house would force people to actually use this. This house would it supports the inclusion of feminist narratives. It does not mean that it forces everyone to actually use the fashion and beauty products. It's not something that will force on society. It's not ethnic cleansing, ladies and gentlemen. It is something that, if you prefer to use the fashion and beauty products, then it is your right. It is the right of a woman. And that is why we are just using the tools that a woman has and a woman is provided with by using the feminism narrative. And they also mention about, what about those who do not? There will always be people who will not reap the benefits from businesses. It's called inflation, ladies and gentlemen. There will be businesses that fail and the businesses that will succeed. But in order for this business to succeed, this fashion and beauty products, we must need the inclusion of feminist narratives to make it actually more successful. And they also question, where is the law that says a man has more right than a woman? The government side did not even mention about a law that says a man has more rights than a woman. In fact, we even said that both have equal rights, but it is the perception of society that changes the fact, and thinks that the perception of society that they think that we should that women do not deserve certain things and do not have enough rights. And that is why we fully support this motion, because it helps empowers and strengthens a woman's identity as a whole. It helps women in businesses that could not flare if they had no help, if they had no support from the government, the support of the inclusion of feminist narrative. And so to counter the arguments, our first argument would be the encouraging of corporate accountability. It means we hold them accountable, we hold these businesses accountable by actually allowing the inclusion of feminist narratives in that business. And the second thing, we foster responsible branding by making sure these brands know their responsibility to actually provide incomes for these women and for these women who are included in the feminist narratives, because they deserve to have that right to actually help their own, to help women itself. And so that is why we also proved how what would happen if we do not support the inclusion of feminist narratives, which is it lacks authenticity and it dilutes the feminist discourse. It means it dilutes the perception of everyone and society to think that feminism is not important, even though feminism is important, because the world we live now has lots of perception of people thinking that that women do not deserve certain rights, and women have to step down for the simple fact that they are women. And so that is why on the government side, we have proven to you how there are multifaceted ways it can empower a woman and give strength to a woman, because it represents the identity of women. And so if we incorporate a woman into the inclusion of feminist narratives in advertisements of both fashion and beauty products, not only will it soar or succeed in the fashion and beauty products, but it will actually help them to recognize their own importance and their own empowerment as a woman as a whole. Because this whole time back in history, there are no rights for these women, and as the government, we support the inclusion of this feminism narrative, because we want to prove to you how women do have to empower themselves, because no one will do it for them, and they also know their identity. That is why we do not agree with how this actually forces cultural reforms, because it does not touch anything about culture. It touches about identity and the strength of a woman, and therefore we believe that the government side stands. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you.